Well, Mike, first of all, how excited are you for this clinic to be able to work with the kids that have come out here tonight?
I love it. I mean, these opportunities are rare for me, and I just remember being that age myself. Every chance I got, I was just saying, I grew up in Philadelphia, to get out on the ice and play. I had an older brother who was a goalie, and just going out there and learning what to do, working on your trade, it's the best, and it really never changes.
And the thing is, a lot of these kids, or all of these kids, really weren't around when you played, but the Ranger fandom is passed down from generation to generation. Do you like it when the kids come up to you, my dad, my mom told me about what you did in '94?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it has to be because they are so young. They didn't get a chance to experience it. I've got 3 boys now, they're 24, 22, and 20, and they don't really remember me playing, but you can always kind of look back, right? I was just old enough to start to see the tail end of, a couple of the great goalies that they had, like Eddie Jockman, and just to see those guys and to talk to them later is really fun. It's part of history.
Well, you grew up in Philadelphia. Did you try to emulate Flyers growing up when you started playing hockey?
Yeah, unfortunately, I probably wasn't tough enough to emulate Dave Schultz, but I loved Bernie Perrant, Hall of Fame goalie, and 2 shutouts for 2 Stanley Cup wins, French-Canadian, cool as the day is long. I go to clinics with him around the Philadelphia area, so it's just incredibly motivating, and, everybody starts out just as a fan. They love to play the game. Bernie did, Marty Brodeur did. I did. It's part of what you do as a little kid, and if you're lucky, you get to play for many, many years.
We just passed the 30th anniversary of the Stanley Cup in 1994. I know there was a lot of get-togethers around that. Is it hard to believe it's 30 years? Does it seem like it was just yesterday?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, life goes by so fast, and it's punctuated by those moments. And these guys are all, family, tight groups, but time goes by and you really want to take these moments to sort of look back, and when you're playing, all you're thinking about is that next game, that next season, that next win, and when you retire, you start to actually accumulate just more gratitude, say, oh my God, was I lucky? There's a lot of kids, a lot of older great players that don't get the chance to do it. We were lucky enough to do it.
When you think about that team, you had some growing pains because you had a couple of playoff disappointments, and then there was the one season in '93 that you didn't make the playoffs. You come right back and win the Cup. What was it like going through that maturation process with that team and then adding the key players, including a guy like Mark Messier?
Yeah, I just saw a quote that said, character is what you do on your 3rd and 4th try, and I think anybody who played this game, you're going to get your backside handed to you once in a while. You're going to lose. You look at somebody that's supremely talented like, Connor McDavid, and it's not handed to you. You have to go and earn it, and it's always hard earned. And I think those times where you come up short, they're seared into your brain, into your consciousness in a way that nothing else can be, and you don't work a long time to get back to the top.
And all these years later, I'm sure it doesn't get old when fans come up to you and say, that was so awesome that year, thank you for everything. Does it get old 30 years later when people say that to you?
No, but I think the thing that's really changed is you recognize how much it means to the people around you. Honestly, it sounds trite, but it's the fans that pay your salary, that come to the games, that make the Garden fun, that make, the wars that we have with the Islanders so enjoyable. And, to be able to share that championship with them, you're wearing New York on there, you want to represent them well. And for looking back, you just go, wow, that's a big portion of people's lives. They put a lot of time, energy, and money into it like we did. And I was a fan when I grew up, and I know how much it meant to me. Now you can kind of look back and say, I'm glad we could return the favor once.
Now, this question comes from an Islanders fan that didn't enjoy watching you guys win in '94. How badly did you want to stop those 1940 chants?
It's unbelievable. And, when we were going to the playoffs, we won the President's Trophy that year, and the Islanders were the 8th place team. We're the first, and we took them very, very seriously. They were still a great team, and they had the ability to slay giants for sure. And so we're like, man, we're going to have to figure out how to kind of kill some of the ghosts that have haunted us if we're going to go all the way. So that was a big test for us, and they scrapped and clawed. It was 4 games, but every one of them, including that last one, right up to the last minute of the game, was a war, and I think that's what you want.
We're here on Long Island, so it's a good time to ask the question. How much did you enjoy that rivalry with the Islanders over the years?
I had no idea how good it was, so I was talking to a friend in the league, and he played for Dallas, and he said, yeah, it's a little bit quiet going to Jersey or Islanders. I go, are you kidding me? That place is insane. And he's like, well, you're the Rangers, so you got that rivalry, and we're so lucky now because you have those 3 teams in such close proximity, and they're all good. They're all young, and they're all good. And hopefully, I think it's great for hockey. All three of them are kicking the crap out of each other and showing you great hockey, because that's what puts fannies in the seats.
So what do you think of the Ranger team going into this season after their run to the Cup fell a little short last year?
I think you have to fall short before you take that final stride, and it's not easy. It's tough to keep teams together now as a management group. The salary caps and the movement of the players and the demands and the agents, it's a little different than it was 30 years ago when I played. But in the end, you have to put a talented team together that have to figure out how to work together and be better than the sum of their parts. And the Rangers are figuring that out. They have such talent. They're fantastic in net. They're incredibly well coached. It's a really well managed organization right now. They just have to get some experience and a little toughness, and they'll be fine.
Now, you can't tell the story about Rangers hockey over the last 40 or so years without Sam Rosen, their longtime television play-by-play announcer, and obviously everybody will remember how he called you guys winning the Stanley Cup, that this one will last a lifetime. He announced he's going to retire after this season. As a former Ranger and a big member of the Ranger alumni, what did you think about Sam Rosen as a broadcaster, and how much will he be missed?
Retiring already is all I can think. No, it's. I mean, he's such a part of not just the Ranger organization, our entire family. You live and breathe with these guys all throughout the year. They understand the ups and downs. Think how grueling that schedule is, and he's still doing that 40-some years later. The guy has been an enormous part of the organization. He's been positive. He's been supportive. He's been professional every step of the way. So nobody who's met Sam in that organization and outside of it doesn't love him as a real friend, and he is a genuinely true professional. He'll be missed. It'll be very hard to fill that up, because he is not just the voice of the Rangers. He's the vibe of the organization. But all great things have to come to an end, so we're going to savor him this year. He has his farewell tour, and love every minute of it, and wish him well.
And the last thing, this clinic tonight put on by Pioneer Sports and the PAL, and a lot of kids are here tonight. What's your big message to kids that are starting out playing hockey that have the same dreams that you had?
The hard part is you really you can have all the motivation in the world, but find a way to enjoy it, right? Because if you're going to take that final step and get to the pros, it is going to require so much work. If you don't love what you do, you won't get up in the morning and put everything you have into it. So these kids, whether you're 6 years old or 36, always carve out a sense of enjoyment, work as hard as you possibly can, and leave nothing on the table.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.